What's up, everybody, and welcome. Deacon here, coming to you from my living room, enjoying some coffee. Max is still asleep, and getting ready to get the day started.
Monday morning, the homeschooling has begun.
My desk/workstation has become quite apocalyptic itself.
Snake Plissken definitely knows what it's like to be on lockdown.
Call me Snake.
I told you I wasn't a fool, Pliskin.
Call me Snake.
We heard of you too, Pliskin.
Call me Snake.
That's not funny, Pliskin.
Call me Snake.
Max and I are here up on Space Station 01, and we're still on quarantine. We've been watching a ton of movies, so we figured we'd do some reviews. Last night we watched Cloak and Dagger, the original Cloak and Dagger from the 80s, starring Dabney Coleman and Elliot from E.T.
Elliot?
I don't remember what his real name is, but you're just Elliot, bro. I liked your performance in The Haunting in Hill House, but I still kept expecting to see E.T.'s ghost pop out of a closet somewhere or something. Anyhow, yeah, starring Elliot from E.T. and Dabney Coleman as both playing two roles, both his dad and Jack Flack. Yeah! No, not Jack Black.
Or Flack Jack?
Or Roberta Flack. Or Affleck.
Affleck.
Anyhow, this movie's awesome. This movie still holds up. It's a great father and son movie, even though it's old school. And, I think it was pretty cool to see my son, really getting into it and watching a movie that I watched, when I was his age. Released in 1984 and directed by Richard Franklin, a young boy and his imaginary friend end up on the run after obtaining a secret spy gadget. His imaginary friend, Jack Flack, played by Dabney Coleman, who you probably remember from... He was the creepy boss in 9 to 5. He's in War Games. He's in Tootsie. The Man with One Red Shoe. That's a great movie with Tom Hanks. I like old movies. They're fun. They're fun to break down, too. The story itself was based on a book called The Boy Who Cried Murder by Cornell Woolrich. It's even in the family section in Prime streaming video, which is crazy because, if you really break it down, like today, it would never be released. There would never be a kid's movie with,
Violence.
Spies shooting each other with silencers and...
Pew!
Pew.
Get your hands up in the air.
Get your hands up. Now, here's an interesting fact. When this movie was released, it was released as a double feature with the movie The Last Starfighter, which is actually the very first movie to ever have CGI in it. In the movie, Davy Osborne is an 11-year-old fan of video games. And he has an imaginary character that's based on his RPG character, hero. Things start to get heated when his local game store owner, played by William Forsythe, who you might remember from things like Raising Arizona or American Me. Yeah, that's the same dude. Anyhow, William Forsythe's character sends the kids downtown to pick up a game where they actually witness a murder. Yeah. A dying man in a lab coat gives Davy the Cloak and Dagger tape, which has some secret kind of tracking spy device inside of it. In turn, thrusts this little kid into a real-life Cloak and Dagger adventure. Of course, it's super far-fetched, but it's a great movie to watch with your son. You liked it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? Were you worried that he wasn't going to get away? What's your favorite part of the movie?
When the spies died.
That's it? Just when the spies died?
Yeah, because the spies were mean.
They were mean. They're bad, huh?
They're
bad
bad guys.
They're baddies. Yeah, Cloak and Dagger, It's for a kids movie. It's kind of messed up,
Yeah.
but it's good. It's a good 80s movie. It's weird because the kids are in serious danger for most of the film, and they're exposed to real life dangerous kind of situations. And I think the fact that nobody believes them is kind of what makes it all the more compelling. I think the best thing about this is it makes it not just entertaining for a young audience. Even going back and rewatching it, you kind of get to enjoy it from a different perspective. What's interesting is, due to a video game crash in the mid 80s, there was never an actual Atari 5200 Cloak and Dagger video game ever produced. The game, however, did appear in arcades. Atari repurposed a video game that was in development called Agent X. Cloak and Dagger was a great movie. I loved it as a kid, and it still holds up. I give Cloak and Dagger still a thumbs up. Did you like it?
Yes.
Thumbs up. All
I
right.
give it like an 8 out of a 10. Solid 8.
Ooh, solid 8. Okay.
What do you give it out of a 10?
I think that works. Solid 8. That works for me too. Solid 8. Go check out Cloak and Dagger.
Then get Rice's attention and lead his fire. You understand?
So I think today's character is going to be Ludwig Von Drake, who is not only another Ward Kimball creation, but is also the inspiration for my occasional intro. Oh, hello there. Ludwig Von Drake is Donald Duck's eccentric uncle from the European side of the family. He is almost exclusively a television personality. Another brilliant creation from legendary animator Ward Kimball. Ludwig is a polymath, and he's never too modest to remind the listener that he is an expert on almost any given subject. His voice and speech is very different than that of his much more famous nephew. He is largely intelligible, despite his very thick German accent. He was voiced by the legendary Paul Frees, who's done like a bazillion radio and television voiceover appearances, including the narrator for both The Haunted Mansion and the now defunct Adventure Through Inner Space. One of my favorites was when he voiced the spirit that talked to Donald Duck in the animated educational featurette Donald Duck in Mathemagicland. Ludwig's first appearance was in An Adventure in Color, which was a double feature with Mathemagicland, released in 1961 and featured an appearance with Walt Disney himself. Professor Von Drake went on to have a distinguished television career, hosting 17 featurettes, which mixed both humor and a certain degree of educational material. Professor Ludwig Von Drake may not be as popular or as well known as his nephew Donald Duck, but just like Jiminy Cricket, he has served as both link in storylines and a host to a slew of educational shorts. And if you ask me, he's just as iconic of a character as all the others from that era. We're out on a walk, and I'm just going to document how surreal this is. Streets are very empty, and everyone, well, almost everyone, is wearing a mask. Even this guy's out here right now. Oh, I think he has coronavirus already.
What?
He doesn't have a mask, but he's still dancing.